Everyone, awesome. So happy Sunday. Today is another day, another beautiful day. So let's see. Let me go live on. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So let's see here. Here we go. We are live. So let me let people know we are live now. Let me send some messages. We are live. Anyone joining is going to be awesome today. Let's have a look here. We are live. We are live. Let's see. So how's your day so far? SMC No Feel, welcome. Thank you for joining. Martial Luz RN, thank you for joining. Welcome. Happy Sunday. Today is going to be an exciting day. We are going to talk about things that are so important. How to avoid $10,000 in losses. Right, Sugabuga, thank you for joining. It's going to be awesome. So, how's your day so far? So, who's had a great day today? Who's had a great day? Right? If you've had a great day, say yes. I've had a great day. Let's see. SMNO feel. I don't know how to pronounce it. Have you had a great day? Awesome. Please invite your friends. Invite your friends. Um, invite your friends. Yes, yes. So, who else has had a great day? Right? Who else has had a great day? Right. So I know. So okay, okay, awesome. I like that. I like that. So I'm going to kind of tell you guys a little story about Jerry. Right. So when I was born, we didn't have any internet in those days. There were no computers, no internet. I was born a very long time ago, and I'm from a family of 9 children. Um, I'm among the last. I have a twin brother. Many people don't know my twin brother, right? Yes, my twin brother lives he's in Maryland, but we are not identical, right? Who wants to know one more thing about me? Tell me, right? So yes, I have a twin brother, and the funny thing is that when I was younger, I wanted to be a doctor, right, or an aeronautic engineer or petrochemical engineer. But when I look back, um, I'm so grateful that I never became a doctor. You see, it's crazy because, um, when I was younger, I was one of those guys who was always, top of the class, disciplined. I didn't have time to play around. I didn't have time to mess about. Not with girls or anything like that. I was not a nerd. I wouldn't say so, right? But yes, so I wanted to be a doctor, but it happened. I actually wrote a medical. For those who don't know me, so I was born in Cameroon, right? I was born in Cameroon. Does he do the same thing as you? No, my twin brother is. That's awesome. So my twin brother is into IT. He's like a computer genius. He is awesome. I've learned so many things from him. I'm very IT savvy, but he's like the next level. He's great, man. And wants to know one more thing about me, right? So yes, so that's what happened when I was younger. I actually wrote the medical exam back home in Cameroon, but I wasn't selected, and I was very shocked because I was amongst the top in my class. But it was one of those crazy things that you see. In those days, there was only one medical school in the whole country, right? And it was one of those things that you see, like 5,000 people will sit for an exam where they're only going to select like 70 people. And the crazy thing was that out of those 70 people sitting for the exam, they would only choose like, no, out of the 5,000 people sitting for the exam, they'll only choose 70. And out of those 70 people, you have children, ministers, children, their relatives, the presidents, nieces, and all those crazy people, including those who had bribed and all those things. So if you see out of the 70 people, the genuine people who were successful were probably, who were there because of merit, were probably out of maybe about 10, right? But when I look back in time, it makes me realize that, I think it was God's way of saying that, look, this is not your calling, right? Now, when I see myself now, I'm so excited. I'm so happy that I became an accountant, right? And then because of accounting, I became a finance expert and tax strategist, and I'm so passionate about these things, right? I'm going to tell you guys one more story before we start. So there was a time that I was so when I did accounting. I started accounting in 2002. That's a long time ago. I had my first degree in 1999. Who can guess what my degree was in? Who can guess? Who can guess? So who can guess, right? Are you guys enjoying my story? So who can guess? So just make a guess if you can guess, right? So what was my first degree in? Right? Who can guess? One guess, please. Martial, if can you guess? Sugabuga, can you guess? Right? Yes. So that's just kind of my story. Right. So my first degree was in biochemistry. So I have a first degree in biochemistry, and my minor was in medical laboratory technology. No, accounting, no. I left from biochemistry with I worked in the lab. Don't look, I was amongst the top. I was good in biochemistry, biology. Shannon Douglas, welcome. I was good in biochemistry, biology, physics, all this kind of stuff, right? So I never did accounting. So when I started my accounting journey, my head was full of biology, human biology, chemistry, and all this kind of stuff, right? But then I took on the challenge. I said to myself, so my older sister said, but why don't you think about doing accounting? I said, okay, I don't know a poor accountant, so I'm probably going to become an accountant. And that's how I became an accountant, right? It was very challenging. It was crazy. It's one of the toughest qualifications I've ever done in my life, right? So I became an accountant, and it took me 3 years to qualify. It was very, very tough. I was amongst a few in my college who graduated, because it was one of those courses that so many people gave up. Right? So that's kind of my journey. I'm going to give one more testimonial. This might bless someone. So when I went into accounting, I finished my accounting. I finished in 2005. I went for an interview with PricewaterhouseCoopers. Now, who knows PricewaterhouseCoopers? Is one of the top 5 accounting firms in the world. So I went for the interview, and it was a white folk. The guy, So I went to the final stage of the interview, where I was speaking to one of the bosses, and this guy, so he looked at my resume, right? He said, but you look like a very busy guy. I said, yes, I have to keep myself busy. But I told him clearly that, look, if I get this job, I am going to quit everything I'm doing to focus on this job. But guess what? So I got declined. I wasn't selected. And I actually went there twice, final stage of the interview. I wasn't selected. But when I look at it back today, I am so grateful to God that I was never selected. I never worked for PricewaterhouseCoopers. I never worked for one of these big accounting firms, right? So one thing I'm going to say is that when things happen to you, at times you don't understand why things are happening. You may see it as, oh, this is crazy. But trust me, at times when things happen, you have to remember that God has your back. God has your back. I've learned so many things in life. All things work together for good. Trust me. It doesn't matter what you're going through. The best thing in life is never quit. Never give up. Trust me. Right? So that's kind of my story. Woodmana, welcome. Thanks for joining. So I'm going to stop here, and so that we get on to the our topic of today. So thank you all for joining. So today we're going to talk about the things that you should not do, how to avoid $10,000 losses in with smart tax preparation. Now, so I want us to think about this. Most people don't realize that pen IRS penalties and interest are absolutely crazy. You have to do your best to avoid these things. Why? Because if you do not, it's crazy. Lois is around. Mika Pika, thanks for joining. Right. So we are looking at how to avoid $10,000 in losses. Now, I want to put things straight. First of all, April 15 is the deadline for most people to file their individual income tax return and pay taxes owed. Now, most people do not realize that an extension to file is not an extension to pay. And I repeat, an extension to file a tax return is not an extension to pay, right? I have so many stories, but I'm not going to get distracted this time, right? So I'll just go through the IRS penalties, and you are going to see that Jane, welcome, right? You are going to see that it's absolutely critical to avoid paying these unnecessary fines and penalties, because these fines and penalties can accrue to tens of thousands of dollars and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Look, this is wasted money. This is absolutely wasted money, right? So I'm going to go through the things. So we're going to look at interest, right? Now it says that what interest accrues on any unpaid tax from the due date of the return until the date of payment in full. So from the due date of the return, remember tax returns, at the deadline for tax returns is April 15. So from the due date of the return until when you pay you make the payment in full, interest is going to accrue, right? And the interest rate is determined quarterly, and it is the federal short-term rate plus 3%. This is crazy. And guess what? Interest compounds daily. This is crazy. Interest compounds daily. You have to avoid that, right? Now it says that what the interest rates remain the same for the first quarter of 2024, right? And then for individuals, for example, it says that what is 8% for overpayments, 8% and things like this is crazy. 8%, right? 5.5% for a portion of corporate overpayments exceeding 10,000 and all those things. So these rates are ridiculous. This is wasting money, right? Now, in addition, so if you file your return and you don't pay all taxes owed on time, you generally have to pay a late payment penalty. A late payment penalty, right? So there is a failure to pay penalty, right? So if you don't pay on time, if you don't pay in full, you are going to get a penalty. And so the failure to pay penalty is one. Let me get the stuff right real quick here. So the failure to pay penalty is 1/2 of 1% for each month, right? This is absolutely crazy. Or part of the month, up to a maximum of 25% of the amount of tax that remains unpaid. Look, these things are ridiculous. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. You have to avoid these things, right? Now, also, if you owe tax and you don't file on time, there is also a penalty for not filing on time. So you have a failure to file penalty. This is crazy. So number one, you have interest, right? You have failure to pay penalty, and you have failure to file penalty. This is crazy. Right? And the failure to file penalty is usually 5% of the tax owed for each month. For each month, this is absolutely ridiculous. Or part of the month that your return is late, up to a maximum of 25%. Guys, look, let me tell you, you have to avoid these things. You have to avoid these things. And it says that if your return is over 60 days late, there's also a minimum penalty for late filing, and is the lesser of $485 or 100. This is crazy. Or 100% of the tax owed. Look, guys, I'm telling you, if you haven't filed your taxes, you have to think twice. Now, I want us to go into the reasons why people do not file. So, You have what? So empirical data suggests many things, but I'm going to kind of go through what I have seen. But let me just go through what data shows, right? So data shows that one of the reasons why people don't file their returns again is laziness. Laziness. My understanding is that cats are lazy. I don't know. I don't have a cat, right? Are cats lazy? Right? So I don't have a cat, but I have the understanding that cats are lazy, right? Now, so laziness is one of the reasons. Now, you see, if you are lazy, you have to look, you have to figure out a way how to deal with that. You have to figure out a way to deal with that, right? So laziness is one, right? We have forgetfulness, that's another reason, right? We have confusion, we have death or serious illness of the taxpayer, right, or an immediate family, right? And then we have invalid advice from a competent professional, right? And then some people just believe that paying income taxes is voluntary. This is absolutely crazy, right? And they have those who are like active duty military service people, right? And they have cases like maybe there was destruction of records. So from my experience, this is what I have seen personally why people do not file. Now, I have come across people who are afraid, right? One of the reasons why people do not file is that they are afraid of how much they are going to owe. Look, it's funny because when I was doing some research, I didn't see fear as one of the reasons, but from a practical perspective, I came to realize that talking to so many people, some people are just afraid. They don't want to face the reality. Guys, let me tell you, instead of not filing, it is better to file so that at least you know that, yes, this is how much I owe, and you figure out how to deal with it. You have to be careful. The IRS, they are not scary monsters or whatever. They understand. So instead of not filing, it's better to file with the IRS to figure out how much you owe, right? Now, if you are going to owe $30,000, talk to me and we can figure out a way to fix it with tax planning, right? If you, whatever you owe, call the IRS and make a payment arrangement. Otherwise, trust me, if it gets out of control, you will be in trouble. They can basically access your bank account and pull money from there. It happened to a nurse. It happened to someone, right? So you have to be careful. Now, so I've come across people who are just afraid. They don't know what to do. They are overwhelmed. They are afraid to file the taxes because they just don't want to face the reality. Now, another reason that I found out is carelessness, right? Carelessness was not one of the things that that was on my list. But again, from a practical perspective, based on experience, I came to realize that some people are just careless. And trust me, carelessness never takes anybody anywhere, right? So we always have to be careful. Look, so this is what I say. Number one, identify your problem. Be honest with yourself. If you feel that you are lazy, if you feel that you are afraid, if you feel that you are careless, ask yourself the question: if I do not do anything about this thing, about the status quo, what is going to be the outcome? Ask yourself, what is going to be the outcome? You have to take action. You have to take action. Are you guys with me? So this is absolutely critical, right? Why am I emphasizing on these things? Because it is not funny to be giving $10,000 to Uncle Sam when you could have been investing this $10,000, right? Recently, in Texas, this is in Texas only, I saw a high yield savings account that gives 7%. It was actually saw this 2 days ago. I've not seen it in another state, but there's a website to check, right? So I'm just going to be a blessing to someone here. So I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to give you guys a website that you can use. So this is a bonus right here. Instead of giving $10,000 to Uncle Sam as in penalties and interest and all those crazy things, I'm going to show you how you can be making 5.5% or 7%. I'm going to get this link right now and I'm going to put it in the chat box, right? I'm going to give you guys, I'm going to share this link right now and put it in the chat box. For those who are attending, you probably get this information, so you can check this out. I've put in the chat box there. So if you look at that link, so let me just show you guys. Let me just bless you guys here, right? Let me share my screen right here, so that let me share my screen right here, right? So let's see here. So I'm going to share my screen right here. So this is just to bless somebody right here, right? I'll share this website with you guys. This is where you can get high, you can check all the high yield savings account real quick right here, right? If you come here, you see here 7% in Texas, right? Now, again, I'm based in Texas, so it's there right there. So let's say, who wants to try? Let's see, who is here? Just give me one state. Okay, let's try New York. I think New York. Let's try New York. I know some people here in New York. I don't know why people live in New York. It's one of those states that's very complex, right? The taxes, I don't like it there. But let's try New York. I don't know. But and then I've never been to New York. Maybe somebody's going to invite me there one day. But I hear houses are too small there. But let's see here. So let's take $100,000, right? If you have, okay, let's put something realistic. Let's put 50,000, right? Not many people have $100,000. Let's put 50,000. Not many people have 50. Let's just use 50,000 right here. So if you put 50,000 there, it shows you which bank. This one gives 5.5%, right? So unfortunately, in New York, we don't have 7% right there, but at least 5.5% is better, right? So this is how you can take, instead of giving the IRS $10,000 and you lose $10,000, you can be getting from the $10,000 right here. Let me show you guys right here. 10,000. Let's put 10,000, right? You can be making $550 APY, right? Annual percentage yield. So real quick here. So let me stop the screen share, right? And then we continue from where we stopped, right? So this is absolutely crazy. There is no reason why people should be giving free money to Uncle Sam, right? So awesome. So we're going to continue right here where we stopped. Now, I want to talk about how to be tax season ready. How to be tax season ready. This is the Jerry strategy. Who is excited? Who is enjoying today's session? Right? So if you're enjoying today's session, just type yes, yes, please. If you're enjoying today's session, type yes, yes, please. So who is typing? Who is typing? Who is typing? Who is typing? Right? Who is typing? If you're enjoying today's session, just type yes, please. Right, awesome. So let's see here. So we're going to continue where we stopped, right? Now, so nobody, I don't know, you guys are not answering, right? Only one person has answered. Okay, two. Keep up. Who else? Right? Now, so let's go to the next point. How to be tax season ready as far as Jerry is concerned. The most important thing is that you have to make sure that you have what we call the complete documents and information. You have to determine your filing status. You have to make sure that you have all your W-2s from all your employers. You have to make sure that you have all your 1099s. You have to make sure that you have all the receipts from, charitable donations. If you go to a church like myself, you can ask for a certificate of donation. They will give it to you. Now, you need that information. Now, let me just talk a little bit about donations, right? Many people, there's a misconception that you get automatic tax deduction with a donation. This is absolutely wrong. Donations will only benefit you if you are itemizing your deductions. In one of my sessions, I clearly explained the difference between using a standard deduction versus using an itemized deduction, right? So if you are itemizing, so breaking down all the different things like interest on mortgage, real estate taxes, medical expenses, and all those kind of stuff, then you are going to be itemizing. But generally, from what I have seen, if somebody is single, right? If you are single and you own a home, you are more likely going to itemize. From my experience, you are more likely going to itemize. And now, if you probably gave about 3,000 as tithes and offerings or donations, plus you have, real estate, right? Single person, you are going to itemize. Now, if you are married, it becomes a bit tricky because the standard deduction is very high. So, if you are married, you are less likely going to itemize. So, all the donations that you're making will probably not help you, right? Now, if you are married and you own real estate, it now depends whether it's $1 million house with high interest, mortgage interest, real estate taxes and all those things. And it also depends on whether you gave like $15,000 as in donations. If you gave $10,000 and you have real estate and you're married, yes, then you're more likely going to itemize your deductions, right? So that's a quick way. Now, I'm just going to give you guys a tax strategy right here. Now, there's one of the strategies that you can use if if you have a C corporation, right? You could give the donation through your C corporation and straight away it's a tax write-off, right? There you go. Those who have ears will hear, right? So let's continue here. So I was I was talking about how to get how to be tax season ready with Jerry. This is a Jerry formula. This is a Jerry strategy. Make sure that you have all your information and documents ready. Ready, right? Once you have all those things ready, now for those who have businesses, or if you are an independent contractor with a 1099 NEC, last session I spoke about 1099 NEC, right? You have to make sure that you have details, you have your records are complete, right? You have to make sure that you have all your expenses. Don't worry about tracking the income because the income has already been reported to the IRS through the 1099. But if you have a business like myself, multiple businesses, then you need to have systems that allow you to track your sales, right? So there are different ways that you can use that. You can use software or you can use your bank statements, right? So for those who have businesses, let me tell you exactly what to do. Now, if I am filing your taxes, this is my process, right? This is my process. I want you guys to listen. If I am filing your taxes, I like to take my time to ensure that I have the complete information. So this is what I do. You send me your documents through my secure business email, or you can send them through my I have a secure portal where you can upload all the documents and let me know once it's uploaded. So once I receive all your documents, I'm going to review them and then I'm going to provide you with a quote, right? A quote that once if you're happy with the quote, you pay 50% and we start the job. If you're not happy with the quote, it is fine, right? Now, for those who I had a meeting with one guy today. He told me, "Oh, Jerry, you look like an expensive guy." I told him that no. As a matter of fact, my fees are cheaper than what my colleagues or my friends who are tax strategists charge. And I'm going to be very honest here. My friends who are tax strategists, they will not touch your return if it's not $1,000, right? But I don't do that. My fees are very reasonable. Those who've used me know. If I were to charge what I'm worth, I'll probably not be doing anybody's tax return. I'll only be doing taxes for my tax planning clients, right? But for me, I enjoy taxes. Taxes for me is a passion. Thank God I never became a doctor, right? So I love what I do. So I always try to go out of my way to make people happy. This is just Jerry. This is who I am. That's just how I am, right? So again, I just like when people are honest. If you feel it is expensive, just be honest. If you don't have the money, just be honest. We can talk about different things. I don't like dishonest people. That's just how I am. I don't like dishonest people. I don't like time wasters. I don't have that time to waste, right? If you're going to waste my time, don't talk to me. That's just, look, many people need help. right? So if you are going to waste my time, I don't want that, because look, I love my peace. Right? So yes, so just make sure that you have all your information ready. Now, for those who have businesses, like I was saying, you can either, so this is one of the easiest ways. Let me just help you guys here. If you have a business, right, if you are using a software like QuickBooks, or if you are paying someone to do your bookkeeping, that is fine. Never ever hazard yourself to do QuickBooks when you have not been trained. You are going to mess things up, and it's going to be more expensive for you to fix, for me to fix your problem, the problem that you caused in the first place, right? So don't hazard yourself to use QuickBooks if you have not been trained. And if you are not 100% confident, don't do that. It's better to pay somebody to do it for you. Are you with me? Whether I do it, whoever does it, I don't really care. Are you understanding? But what I am saying is that it is your responsibility to ensure that you keep appropriate records for your business. Now, just to make things easy for one or two people, number one, make sure that you have a dedicated account for each business. If you have multiple businesses like myself, make sure that each business has its own bank account. If you are using credit card, make sure that you use a credit card for each business. And this is why that strategy is awesome. This is based on experience. I was never taught this when I was training as an accountant in 2002. For those who joined early, they had bonus. I kind of gave them my story, right? So if you want to know about Jerry, you'll probably have to watch the video again, the live, right? So make sure that you use a dedicated credit card for each business. It is easy now to extract these transactions in Excel, right? So you can basically use Excel, to be honest. Now, so that's one of the things that I would recommend. Another thing I would recommend is that if I am doing your taxes, normally I would send you a customized spreadsheet. This is a spreadsheet that you can use for basic bookkeeping, right? Now, people always ask me this question, Jerry, I paid for this expense out of my pocket. Can I claim it? Yes, you can. If it's a legitimate business expense, then you can claim it. Even if you paid out of pocket, right? It happens that at times you might forget your business card. The IRS understands that, right? So, but it's not like don't make it a habit. You see what I mean, right? Just make sure that, don't make it a habit to be commingling funds. Then you just be causing more problems to yourself. Are you guys with me? So once you have your documents ready, your W-2s, your 1099s, your business is now. If you have a business and you're using one of my spreadsheets, you can just email the spreadsheet to me along with your other documents, and I'll get the job done, right? Now, if you have done your bookkeeping with QuickBooks, for example, then you can just send me your summaries and I'll use that to file your taxes, right? Now, if you've not done anything at all, now this is where it becomes tricky. If you've really not done anything at all, I would say that, okay, now if you want me to do your bookkeeping, then I'll charge you separately for that, right? If you want me to do your bookkeeping, I will charge you separately for that. Alternatively, you can just go download all your bank statements in Excel format, right? It's going to be cheaper for you. And then if you are good with Excel, you can analyze all the expenses and save yourself money and time. Well, I mean, I don't have time for those kind of stuff, right? But my assistants can do that. So if you are struggling, what I'm trying to say is that if you need help, you are not alone. Laziness should not be an excuse. Procrastination is one of the reasons why people do not file. Laziness, procrastination, and all those things. You are not alone. Just seek help. If you don't know what to do, send me a text message and I'll be there I'll do my best to reply, right? It's tax season now. Everybody wants to talk to me, but again, it gets busy. Now, so the next question is, what happens after tax season? The mistake 99% of people, you see, The mistake 99% of people make is that they file their taxes, it becomes like a machine, a chore, right? They file their taxes and they just wait for next year and they don't take action. But let me tell you something. If you file your taxes, you have to ask yourself the question, am I satisfied with my tax liability or my refund? You have to ask yourself the question, what can I do differently for 2024, right? Now, that is why tax planning is absolutely critical. Now, for those who are just joining now, I'm going to introduce myself because you kind of missed it out. So I qualified as an accountant in 2005. I started my accounting journey in 2002. I wanted to be a doctor in those days. My first degree was in biochemistry, but I was amongst the top students in accounting. Then I went into, I became an accountant and also became a finance expert and tax strategist. Now, all the time people ask me, but Jerry, what is a tax strategist? What is tax planning? So let me help you out here. Most people get confused between a CPA, a tax preparer, and a tax strategist. So let me break it down for you. I have been an accountant for 18 years. Accounting is very diversified, right? You have forensic accountants, management accountants, financial reporting accountants, fixed asset accountants. Is very diversified. So when you train as an accountant, you have the basic knowledge of taxation, of taxes, just like a nurse versus a CRNA, right? So accountants would have that basic understanding of taxes. So they are what we call tax accountants. So a CPA is generally a tax accountant, right? Now, a tax preparer, now I have to make this very, very clear because I've seen many people blame their tax preparer for not saving them on taxes. It is not a tax preparer's duty to show you how to reduce your taxes. I need to make it very clear. Tax preparers are like data entry clerks, right? Which means that what? They prepare your taxes based on the information that you have provided. It is not their responsibility to show you how to reduce your taxes. No, they are data entry clerks, right? Now, this is now the difference between a CPA. So like I said, a CPA will tell you, okay, this year you can claim 67 cents per mile and so on. They make sure that you don't break the tax law. Now, a tax strategist is totally different. CPAs are not tax strategists. Tax preparers are not tax strategists. A tax strategist is there to show you how to reduce your taxes using loopholes in the tax code. That is what their role is. So a tax strategist is going to give you what we call a tax plan. That tax plan contains all the strategies that are required to reduce your taxes. So instead of you owing $100,000 to Uncle Sam, you may end up owing $5,000 or zero, right? There are strategies that can really use to bring down your taxes. I'm going to share something here real quick so that for those who somebody can learn something from here, right? Let me see if I can share. I'm going to share this thing real quick here, right? So that you guys can see the difference between, having a tax preparer versus having a tax strategist. I love these things. I love taxes. So let's get it here. Let me share the screen real quick here. So who is enjoying education? Who is enjoying the session? Right. Let me see. Where is this stuff here? Let's see. Oh, there you go. Right. Let's see here. There you go. Right. So let me share it now. I want you guys to see right here. This is the difference between those who hire tax preparers and CPAs versus those who hire tax strategists. Can you guys see here? Now, rich people use CPAs and tax preparers. The wealthy people use tax strategists like myself, which means that what? If you see LeBron James, for example, that was his income, but his effective tax rate was at the time was 34.9%. But if you look at the wealthy guys, Elon Musk, Mike Bloomberg, Warren Buffett, all these guys are in the 3% club. Now, let me tell you guys a story. When I was just an accountant, like every CPA, I used to ask myself the question, but how do these guys get these tax rates? I used to ask myself the same question. How can these guys manage to pay 3%, 1% when these guys are paying 30 something percent? I used to ask myself that question, right? Now I had to upgrade my services and upgrade myself to include tax planning so that I could better serve my clients, right? So if I am filing your taxes, I'm not just going to be that data entry clerk like I mentioned before. So if there are one or two tax strategies that I think you can benefit from, I'll let you know, right? And then you just decide what you want to do. At the end of the day, I'm not the one paying your taxes, right? But what I am trying to say is that with me, you are not just getting an accountant, you're also getting a tax strategist who can transform your life forever, right? So that is how you become tax season ready using Jerry's smart strategy. Don't be lazy, don't procrastinate, don't be disorganized, right? If you have a problem with that, figure out how to fix it. Even if you have to pay someone to put your records together, it is better to pay somebody $200 to fix your records than to spend $10,000 as in fines and penalties. To me, there's no logic in that, right? Because the $10,000 you could have put it in a high yield savings account to at 5.5% or 7% if you're in Texas, right? So I'm going to give people an opportunity to ask questions, right? So I'm going to give the audience an opportunity to ask questions. If you have any questions with regards to your businesses, how to get ready for tax season and all those kind of stuff, please ask your questions now. So if you're enjoying today's session, say yes, yes. If you're enjoying today's session, say yes, please. Right? So who is enjoying today's session, please? Right? Who is enjoying today's session? Who is enjoying today's session? Okay, awesome, awesome. Who else is enjoying? Right? Now, so who has a question? If you have a question, just put it there. Okay. Sugabuga says, where can we get training for QuickBooks? Now, that's a great question. Now, you see, I'm going to answer that question directly, but I'm going to give you my advice. To answer your question directly, you can go to QuickBooks and they have a training program. But trust me, QuickBooks is not just simple, right? If you don't have that basic accounting understanding or accounting knowledge, you may struggle a little bit. So, to answer your question, you can go to QuickBooks and they have the training there for you. Now, but let me be honest with you. Sugabuga, do you want me to be honest with you? Sugabuga, do you want me to? Oh, she says yes, right? So let me ask you the question. If you want to learn QuickBooks, you are probably going to spend maybe about 20 hours, right? Now, I want you to ask yourself this question. In 20 hours, how much can you make? So what is the value that you give to your time? Are you with me? What is the value that you give to your time? If you are going to spend 20 hours, what is the opportunity cost? Right? You could have made $500, but guess what? If you want to learn, okay, let me help you out. If you want to learn bookkeeping, to become a bookkeeper and start it as a business, I would say that's a good strategy. Go for it. Right? If you want to learn bookkeeping, which you can, to become a bookkeeper, then I would say that's a good strategy. But if you want to learn bookkeeping just because you want to save pennies and waste your time, I don't think that's a smart move. Right? It's better to focus on making your money, right? Making money and pay people to do what they are good at. I'll give you a good example. So a couple of years ago, so I know to sew clothes, right? Like I used to do my turn-ups. I used to sew my clothes, everything. People don't realize that. I have many talents. I'm good with IT and all this kind of stuff. So I used to sew clothes a couple of years ago. I would do turn-ups on my pants and all those kind of things, patches, all those stuff. But it got to a point where I realized that if I had to do a turn-up on one of my pants, it would take me like 3 hours. But I said, look, I cannot just be wasting 3 hours of my time. So I got myself a tailor who could do a better job than myself, quicker, higher quality, and I was able to pay him to do the job for me whilst I was either resting because I work hard, right? Resting is absolutely important. So I would rather spend the time resting or making more money, right? So who else has another question? Because we are going to round up in the next maximum 7 minutes, right? Any other question about taxes, right? Right. Anybody, any other question? Any other question? Right? Any question? Any question? Right. So, okay, make how do I pronounce it? Medics. Okay, medics. What medics says? What are some basic simple ways to plan for taxes? When you say to plan for taxes, is it with regards to planning for tax preparation or planning to pay for tax liability? Right? Medis, can you please clarify? Is it with regards to planning for tax season, or I'm a little bit confused here, right? So let's see here. So make this say, what are some basic simple ways to plan for taxes? Okay, I understand that as planning for tax season, right? So the simple things you have to do: number one, make sure that you have all your documents ready. You have all your W-2s. You have all your 1099s. You have all your 1098T tuition, 1099 DIV, right, for dividend, 1099 INT for interest, all those tax forms. If you have stocks and bonds, if you sold any stock, right, you have to make sure that you have the relevant tax form, right? Make this a preparation was my original question, but I'm also interested in liability now that it is mentioned. So yes, so preparation, just make sure that you have all your tax documents. Now I have seen, so I was talking to somebody a couple of, I talk to so many people every week, it's crazy. So I had a meeting with a client, and I was showing the client how she could basically call the IRS because you see people who have not filed taxes for quite a number of years. So this person didn't file taxes for a couple of years, and I was able to show some. Okay, let me put it this way: somebody didn't file the tax for a couple of years, and they were able to call the IRS and request for a transcript of all their earnings. So if you've not filed for prior years, you can basically call the IRS, and they're going to give you a transcript of all your earnings. It shows all the W-2s, the name of the employer, the EIN. But the only thing with those forms is that you don't have state taxes. So which means that if you try to use that strategy and you work in many states, it's going to be a problem because you will not be able to file state taxes. So just make sure that you have all your tax forms together and they have to be complete, right? So I normally have a checklist, which if you want, I can send it to you just to make sure that you don't miss anything out, right? So there's a checklist that I normally send to my clients, right, for tax preparation. Now, Megdi, do you have a business or are you just an employee? So if you have a business, you have to make sure that you have. It depends whether you were an independent contractor. If you have a 1099, you just make sure that you have your 1099. Now you need to have a schedule of your expenses, right? So Megdi, can you clarify if you have a business so that I can make sure that I tailor my answer to your question? If you have a business, then the best thing to do is to make sure that you have a record of all your income and all the expenses. Now, I will really need more information to be able to give you the best advice, because I need to know whether you're using a software. I need to know whether you didn't keep any records, right? But there's whatever problem you have, I have the solution. So okay, Megdi say no business yet. Megdi, I would strongly recommend you start a business this year. Why? Because the tax code was written for business owners. The tax code was never written for employees. I used to be an employee, right? It got to a point where my business income was able to replace my employment income. So I'm going to recommend you watch one of the I had an Instagram live talking about how to start a business. So I'm going to recommend you watch that video on how to start a business. You can start a business based on your skill set, right? You can start a business based on your on a passion. If you like photography, you can convert it to a business. Look, anybody can start a business. Don't tell yourself I can't start it. No. It's crazy because I had a meeting with someone and they told me, "Oh, Jerry, I don't know how to start a business." Oh dear, it was kind of sad, right? The community now say, "Hey, Jerry, when can I schedule a meeting?" Right? You can just text me, right? I'm going to put my number there, 832 296 9110. Now, for those who are on Instagram, you can check the link in my bio. I'm just going to share this with you guys so that you guys can see right here, right? You can share this with your friends. so let me share this with you guys, right? So let me share this with you. So let's see here. Oh, there you go. So I'm going to share this with you guys real quick here so that you guys can see, right? So again, this is how you can book a meeting with me. Kimberly. Right, that's awesome. I love that. Right, you can, I have my, that's a link to my bio there, right? Which you can see here. So if you click there, you can share this with your friends. It has everything. It tells you about who Jerry is and all this kind of stuff. Right, so I'm just going to stop real quick just because of time. Right, so awesome. So let me go to the other questions. Let's see here. So Meg, did I answer your question? Now, when it comes to taxes, because you don't have a business right now, just make sure that you are not claiming any exemptions or deductions on your W-4. Are you with me? Because this way you are going to more likely have a tax refund. So don't claim any deductions, don't claim any exemptions. That's what I tell people. Now, again, there is no one size fits all rule. Are you with me? But the most important thing is that if you're claiming deductions and exemptions, just know that you're more likely going to pay all the IRS. So let me look at the other questions so that we can deal with them. SMNO Phil says, I just opened my business and have a W-2. That is awesome. Well done. Look, I'm telling you guys, everybody here needs to have a business. If you don't know how to start a business, watch one of my lives where I spoke about how to start a business. If you are struggling, we can probably schedule a meeting when weekends, right? When I'm weekends, we can talk about it, right? So let's see. Kimberly, right? Oh, Kimberly says she texted me. Don't worry, I have a backlog of messages and email. Generally, I don't work on Sundays, but unfortunately, I have to work today just to catch up with some text messages from so many clients asking me questions, right? But I always try my best to answer all the questions, right? So any other question in 1 minute, any other question, right? So if you are enjoying today's session, just say thank you. If you're enjoying today's session, just say thank you, Jerry. And make sure that you invite your friends next time, right? You need to promise me you're going to invite your friends next time. Except if you want to be blessed just by yourself. Right? So awesome. Right? If just invite your friends. So if you enjoyed today's session, just say thank you, Jerry. I love that. Right? Awesome. So yes. So I'm going to stop here and then post the recording. We're going to hopefully continue next session. Now, if you have a topic that you want me to talk about, feel free to DM me and we can talk about it, right? Feel free to DM me, we can talk about it. If you want me to do your taxes, let me know. Just send me a text message. You have my number. Everything is on my Instagram page. You can go to my business website and everything is there. Come and say hello. Come and say hello.
Hello.
You're saying hello to people, right? Look at
Yeah.
the camera there.
Hello.
Okay, off you go. Right? He likes to hang around me. Okay, guys. So you guys have a blessed rest of the Sunday. I'm going to vacate my office now for like an hour. Oh, thank you. I have three boys, right? Um, I think I'll need to have a session to talk about kids, maybe how to bring up kids. But again, like I said, I talk about everything, right? Whether it's a family, I've been married for 18 years with three boys. I talk about everything. If you have a topic that you want me to talk about, feel free. If you want to have a live and you want me to invite me to talk about a specific topic, just let me know, right? So, guys, thank you for joining, and we're going to call it a day today. And remain blessed. Have a blessed week. Make sure that you invite your friends next session, right? We want to make look, there is no excuse for anybody to be ignorant. There's no excuse, right? You guys have a blessed week, and we'll catch up next week.